Welcome to Make a Path Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk about Negan becoming a good guy in The Walking Dead. Previously, I did a video talking about my predictions for the current storyline, something really awesome about Negan coming to the gates of Alexandria, dealing with Rick, and there's something there that I think is just frickin' epic. So check that out. This is going to be kind of a part 2 because I think it has to relate somewhat to the show. So right now, what am I talking about as far as Negan becoming the good guy without major spoilers at all? In the comic, Negan sent a couple guys, I don't know if he sent them actually, but they were just there. Let's say they were patrolling the street. Rick, Andrea, Carl, Glenn, Michonne, they were in a van. Rick was like, okay, we'll give you everything we got because the saviors go, give us everything you got to Negan. Your stuff now belongs to Negan. You know, the scene in the TV show with Daryl and Abraham and Sasha, that was actually Rick and them. So Rick is like, okay, fine. Andrea, give them everything we got. She shoots 2 of the guys. Michonne cuts the other guy's head off. Rick leaves 1 guy alive, and he's like, okay, go back, tell Negan, you guys now work for us. You give us half of your shit. You know? Ballsy. Rick is pretty damn ballsy in the comic. Anyway, so after that, Negan sends guys to Alexandria to say, hey, you fucked up. You should not have done that. Let us in. Let's fix this. Or, you know, it's game over. But before that, they do kill Abraham. In the TV show, it ended up being Denise. That scene you guys saw was in the comic where Dwight and them were saying, hey, you messed up. Let's fix this. Rick and gang obviously said hell no, and they started shooting, killing some of their guys, and Dwight and them successfully ran away. Now, at that point, we go to issue 100 where... And I need to give this backstory to show you something. And Negan catches them in the middle of the street while they're on their way to the hilltop. They decide to sleep the night away, and then they'll go in the morning. Well, Negan and gang show up. They line them all up. Negan picks one of the guys. Now, he picks them at random, which is very important because later on, even though Negan kills a guy, even though Negan killed a nice guy like Glenn, even though Negan killed an innocent guy, like I said, just a kind spirit, let's say, the way he did it, it leaves it where there's room to defend this by saying, well, you know, it was random, you know, and then later on, Negan does stick up for someone getting raped. Later on, Negan does show that he has these morals and values and guidelines, you know, they're twisted, and he kills people. Yes, but so do Rick and the other heroes. They kill people. Do they kill bad guys? Is it justified? Yes. But is there room to debate? Yes. Where does the TV show come into play? Maybe they knew they were going to keep Negan around for the long haul, similar to the comic. So instead of having Rick and gang have those 2 meetups, in the way the comic book played out, they made it bigger. But they didn't just make it bigger. They added something that I originally thought was a filler episode, which it might very well be a filler episode. Depending on their budget and everything, I believe they are actually forced to do some of these filler episodes. I believe if they had a bigger budget, they wouldn't write the way they do. I think certain episodes they would do differently. So in the show, Negan and Rick and them hit one of Negan's outposts. They kill people in their sleep. A lot of fans were pissed, and I'm thinking that might actually play into something Negan says later down the line. Far down the line, without going into spoilers, Negan says, if I gotta trample babies to save my people, I will. Now look at the show. You know, well, he also says, if, you know, I have to kill anybody, if I have to turn somebody's head into a bowl of soup to keep my people alive, I will. Now, if you look back to Negan's introduction, what happens in the comic and the show? Negan's people come up to Rick. Forget what they were talking about. You know, Negan's people came up to Rick. Rick and gang killed them. In the comic, I mean, Negan's people came to Rick again, and Rick killed them. Rick and the gang. In the show, very similar to that, Rick and gang meet up with Negan's people. They kill them. They blow them up. Then after that, they go to their outpost, and they murder them in their sleep, all right? A whole lot of them. They fucking kill them all. Then after that, which is bigger in my opinion than the comic, a lot more deaths. After that, we get something where we have 2 females and a guy, or was it 2 guys? Yeah, two females and a guy. The guy gets clipped, and the two females take Carol and Maggie. Now we see an image that opens our eyes to the fact that this is an outpost of people also trying to survive. Are there good people here and bad people here? Probably absolutely. But they're trying to survive. And unfortunately, they're trying to survive in this atmosphere that Negan might have created. So they could have been between a rock and a very hard place. So it really muddies the waters when you sit here and go, well, who's truly the good guy and the bad guy? Or are these people just doing shitty shit to survive a shitty situation? And that is very well possible. And I think it's done in the show on purpose to leave that door open, a door of possibility if they're going down that route, to have Negan say later on, you know what, this guy came and killed all my people in this outpost in their sleep. There was some people in there that were good people. You murdered them. They woke up. You guys are killing them. You got, half the people were really vicious. The other half of the people were decent people, They struggled to survive. You broke into their outpost, murdering the bad ones that you consider bad. You also murdered some of the decent ones. It doesn't mean they're all bad people. You see how it blurs the lines. All right, so we're going to go into some comic book material, and I tried to extend this and talk broader. So I did go over the minute mark, but I did it on purpose because I really want to dish this out to the TV viewers, but for right now, this is as far as I could go without spilling spoilers. So unfortunately, if you don't want the spoilers, you're going to have to end the video here because we're going right into the spoilers. So recently, in the most recent issue of The Walking Dead, Negan kills the villain that is about to attack, that has attacked Rick Grimes. Now, we do not know what's going to happen after this, but a lot of us believe they're turning Negan into kind of the anti-hero. He might not be, he might be foul-mouthed, he might be blunt, he might be a murderer, but at the end of the day, he might actually join the side of the good guys. I mean, look at, lots of people love Dwight. Fuck, we don't bat an eyelash, but he murdered Abraham in the comic. I mean, we rarely talk about that anymore. So you telling me that, just because it was Glenn, that we're going to hold it against Negan more than Dwight? You know what I'm saying? Dwight redeemed himself. Can Negan? I think right now, if you think Dwight can redeem himself and you accept him as a good guy, why can't you accept Negan as a good guy? I think that's a clear contradiction. I think the only reason is because Negan's was brutal. Dwight's was just an arrow through his head. If Dwight had, came around the corner and bashed his head in just the same, I think because of how brutal it was, you guys might have a difference of, a lot of fans, not just you guys, but a lot of fans might have a difference in opinion on that, as far as forgiving Dwight. Anyway, so after this, what got me thinking was Negan's backstory. Once he killed this new enemy of Rick Grimes, he said something before he killed her, he said something that was very interesting. He said, I loved someone too, a lot, and they died. And we know now that is Negan's backstory. And then it was like bells at church. It was like ding, 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 or on a game show. His backstory might be not just a money grab. A lot of fans are like, oh, it's a cash grab, money grab, whatever. It might not just be a money grab. It might actually be a clever way to open up Negan's story to allow us to see more, to see what rock and hard place Negan was that created the man that bashed an Asian kid's head in, because we still don't know. We don't know how vicious that area got. We don't know what he was up against. A lot like the governor. The governor, we assumed, which he was crazy, a disgusting piece of shit. But when he got to Woodbury, it was brutal. I think it was like some army members or something, or maybe National Guard, that lost their shit, and I think they were giving out rations to, women that would be extra friendly, or maybe even they just forced them. I think it was brutal. I don't want to say like specifically, but I think it was a very shitty environment. Matter of fact, I know it was. But as far as the details of how shitty, and the governor was like, nah, we're going to kill these people and take it over. Now, with Negan, it could be very similar because we see him in the flashbacks, and in the backstory, and he's wrapping barbed wire around Lucille. You know, we see him as a coach, gym teacher possibly, and then his wife or girlfriend, his wife gets cancer. We see his emotions there. That backstory might be a clever way to get us to accept Negan becoming one of the good guys. You know what I mean? Because right now, there's a lot of fans that are conflicted. I don't know if we should make him a good guy, whoop-de-whoop. If you take into consideration, forget about whether or not Negan jokes around like a foul-mouthed teenager. You know what I mean? Negan says shit for shock value. I think that gets overlooked a lot, especially in our time, because people are so damn sensitive. Back in the 80s and 90s, you know, people would say something for shock value just for a joke. But if you do it now, you know, you're a misogynist, you're a racist, you're an asshole, you're a piece of shit. It's a very big difference, you know? And now you're more likely to get called out just for trying to say something to get a shock value laugh. You know what I mean? Even if it's not truly that disgusting. It could be something where it's like, oh, that's wrong to say, but it was funny. Back in the 90s, it would have been. But now it's like everyone's so sensitive. They're like, where's my safe space, you know? Now, just because Negan has that attitude doesn't mean we should hold it against him until we see his story play out more. Because there could be something. There could be a lot more there that we're not aware of. You can have a Negan that, again, once he gets out of the hospital, he could be like a lost soul in this world. He could come across people, and it could be a very vicious environment. You know, it could be something where there could also be another community. There could be a community where something's set up, and Negan is like, we're not going to live like this. We're going to take them out. I'm not living like this. So Negan takes them out. There could be something where it just escalates, and it pushes Negan to say, you know what? Everyone is going crazy. I could keep this under control. You're going to give me half your shit. I'll clear the area. You know, if you have any problems, we're going to come in. If you're a piece of shit, we're taking you out. We don't know. We don't know the extent of what Negan's rules are. We didn't get a look into it other than we'll clear this area and you give us half your supplies. He could have been, because he hints a few times, he has these communities structured in a certain way, but we don't see it in specifics. And I know with his backstory, it could be a very genius way to open us up to the possibility of Negan joining the side of the good guys. And I think that is awesome. Again, look back at Negan's story where Rick and gang murdered his people in both the comic and the show. Now, we could sit here and go tit for tat on who did what, but in all reality, you know, Rick and them drew first blood. There's no way, I mean, if I'm not saying it's for Rick's good side or on Negan's good side, I'm saying the facts are the facts. It doesn't matter that, you know, they were saying, the saviors were saying, oh, we want half your shit. Well, in the comic, in the show, it was different. In the show, they wanted first blood from the gate no matter what. Anyway, this is getting long enough. I just want you guys to keep an open mind on the Negan backstory. Watch out for that. It comes out once a month at the end of the month, and it comes out in Image Plus. I got it Plus magazines. Holy crap, I can't speak. I got a video up that'll explain and show you how to pick that up if you're new to it, but keep an eye on the backstory. We review it every month, and keep an eye on the comic to see how this Negan storyline unfolds further. Alright, I'm done. Thoughts and opinions down in that comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn. Subscribe now.